Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for you. This morning I wanted to take a look at blocks in VA Smalltalk. And in VA Smalltalk there's a class called block. Let's go ahead and browse the hierarchy and we'll look for block. Now if you're familiar with either Pharo, Squeak, or VisualWorks, you're probably used to looking for something called block closure. Here in VA it's called block, and typically when you instantiate you'll actually get one of these, a block context template. Not terribly important. The main thing is the API is similar across all the main Smalltalks. So you come in here and I want to create a block. Here I'm creating a simple block that will take no arguments. And before I get that far, let me just explain what a block is. It's basically a piece of code that is deferred execution. So when I create a block, the code inside the square brackets does not execute. It's set up to execute later. So here I'm going to assign the block 10 plus 1. Not terribly exciting, but I'm going to assign it. Let's go ahead and inspect it. You see I have a block context template, and it's just a set of code that will execute when I send it the message value. So let's go ahead and do this, and I'll do a display to show the values. There, 10 plus 1, 11. Not terribly exciting, but there you see what happened. I executed the block of code when I sent it the value message. I can pass this block around as an argument with presumably arguments passed into it, and then do what I want with it. So for instance here, I have block 2 where I have a single argument coming inbound, and I'm going to add the inbound argument to the number 1. So I set that up as deferred execution again, execute this, so I have my block 2, and now I can send block 2 the value colon message, just like value only with an argument, and I can give it any argument I want. Here I'm going to give it 1, and do a display, and I get the obvious answer 2. Block 3 I'm going to have 6 arguments, so there are a couple of convenience messages, value, value colon, value, value, or value, 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 value. You can go up to like 3 arguments without having to have anything special. If you have a block that takes multiple arguments or more than the minimum that you can get with the special set-asides like value and value, value, you can send value with arguments. So I can just send it an array of arguments. So here I have block 3. Let's go ahead and set that up. And it's just going to concatenate a set of strings. And here we'll execute it. And we'll do a display on that. And you see what you expect, the strings concatenated together. Let's scroll back over. Also, the other thing you can do with this is you can hand it a return block, so that what will happen is you execute the block, whatever came back as the return value from the block will be passed as an argument here, or if you hand this a no argument block, nothing really happens, it just executes the return block. So you can have a set of actions that happen with the deferred execution, plus a return block that will take the value that came back or not, depending on what you want to do, and work with it. So here I'm going to set up block 3 to take those 6 arguments, and then I'm going to do this down here. And notice what I'm doing is dropping something in the transcript, so let's highlight that and do an execute. And up here, answer was, and there it is, the string concatenated. So that's blocks. Blocks are just deferred execution. You can hand them arguments or not, and they will execute when you send them either the value or some variation on the value argument based on whether you have arguments or not. And you can have configurable arguments, and this is really how you might set something up to take a configurable set of arguments for the block, or you can send it a dictionary, obviously, and that would be fully configurable. So instead of having a fixed number of arguments, you could hand it a dictionary, just like you could with any arbitrary method. So you can think of blocks as loose methods that you can pass around as arguments that are deferred execution, and they're defined by the context you executed the initial assignment. And so these are defined within the context of this workspace. If I define them in a class, obviously they're defined in that context. And that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.